17,500 emails that she lied about turning over. The server wiped. Within weeks of there being a report that she had a private server, it was wiped. She thought that C, which stands for classified, stood for cookie or something, which stands for classified. She thought that drone strikes are not classified. She said that the reason she used this private server is for convenience, and that she only had one device. She used 13 Blackberries, let me finish, and 5 iPads. I think she doesn't just stick to either Blackberry or iPad. This is somebody who is absolutely disqualified from becoming president. They destroyed Blackberries with hammers in the State Department. That's not what won the presidency.
Actually,
and by the way,
Evan, hold on.
Can
you fact check that? Hang on, Evan Perez. Hammers, fact check that for me, please, on the fly.
Yes, they did, Brooke. As you mentioned, there were 13 devices, mobile devices, and 5 iPads that the FBI said that, you know, in some way were used with her private email server, and they did, in some cases, just destroy them with hammers when they were done using them.
I just love her absolute gall to be like, hold up, let's fact check that on the fly. Hammers, really? And then the guy that she's turning to, expecting to get no, that's ludicrous. Nobody would ever destroy those things with hammers in the State Department. Is like, yeah, they actually did that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they'd do on the fly fact checks more often though. In all frankness.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make the news programming a little more.
Or just fact check beforehand. I don't know, like before you go live, fact check everything that you're saying. You know,
right. Well, I guess
when
we have a guess, that's what it'd have to be on the fly, right? Because that's like, hold on, what the fuck did you just say? Somebody convince me of that right now.
Yeah.
Well, they did that with.
Is he lying? Is you lying?
They did that with that Black Lives Matter founder, where she was doing an interview, and they told her in the middle of the interview that they ran her genealogy and she was actually descended from a bunch of slave owners, and she was like, no, that can't be right. And they're like, yeah, well, I mean, we got all the proof right here. Like, yeah, it is right, whether you agree with us or not. And then she just ended the interview in the middle of it, like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm being accosted or some shit.
Yeah, I remember that. She got to double down on the victim thing. Like, oh, now they're questioning my. She said, how did she say it? Like, they're questioning my lineage or something like this. Something like that.
Yeah. Maybe you should ask some questions about your lineage.
Are we talking about the Tartars?
Yeah, come on, we don't need to go digging too deep into each other's lineages.
We're having a good
time here.
or there's going to be something gets turned up that you maybe don't like too much.
You never know, man.
Or maybe that other people don't like. You might be fine with it. Like, you know, my grandfather was German, so you know, might be things that other people don't like. I don't know that I would have a problem with it so much. We actually did do a pretty significant research into our family history, because we have good lineage back to like the original for our family tree that came over from Scotland and where he came from and stuff, and like looking at family history and just the Campbell clans in Scotland back in the days and stuff. There were some other fuckers.
Literally, or
British destroyed all my family's records, so you know we don't know.
We have some of ours, like we go back to like Anne Boleyn, but then some of them it goes back like 2 generations, and everything got lost over in Italy during the war. You know, so it's like, it's a good story.
Yeah.
Oh man,
our ancestors might have been illiterate too, if that doesn't help.
Well, and you know, speaking like the German ancestry, it keeps coming out of me. Like I told you on the group chat, my autocorrect has started autocorrecting "Welcome to Weimar." It's like, calm down, man. We don't have to be given. Doesn't have to be a history lesson to everybody we talk to.
Actually.
Well, actually, do you know the real history?
Got to go full. What's his name? Black science guy. Tyson.
Neil
Yeah.
deGrasse Tyson.
Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. You know the meme where it's like the white nerdy dude that's like half bald and the stubble, and it's like, actually, it's like they really just need to replace that, but like with like a Neil deGrasse Tyson looking, like Neil deGrasse Tyson with a fedora.
You know what? I'm pretty sure there's got to be just a good Neil deGrasse Tyson picture somewhere of him like making a face and pointing a finger, and we'll just put the lettering on there, and that'll be our standard actually from now on.
Yeah.
We will, as a morning show, we will replace the fat balding white dude with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
It's forward thinking. It's progressive. We're replacing a white with a black.
That's right.
It's great.
Trey's already looking kind of black right now. Hiding in the shadow there. There he goes. Turn the lights on and poof, it's Casper.
No. Gotta look. I have to try to blend in, okay, to my environment around here, okay.
Like there's a lot of
there's a lot of scholars here, okay. There's a lot of scholars around here.
I was gonna say there's a lot of like Native American and Italian on the show, so you feel like you need to turn your lights down so that you look a little more dark complected to blend in with the rest of us instead of looking neon.
So I don't know if y'all saw this story. This is the most recent, like, I guess
So I've seen like a couple things, right? Because like
yeah.
like one, it was like he rang the doorbell and was looking for his brothers or siblings or whatever, and rang the doorbell, and the guy came out and told him to get lost and shot him. And then I saw earlier that like he rang the doorbell and entered his house.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, like and this is the problem with the media, right? Because they use the word scholar like all the time to talk about what's his face, the clown in St. Louis that started this whole thing. Hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah. Michael,
and
you
like,
talking about Michael Brown or
yeah, I think so. And like, but like this kid actually, if you like looked into it a little bit, like he seemed like he had, a fairly, like he was pretty well
a decent upbringing
versed, and like he did well. He was like in the band. He had gotten some awards for like doing like higher level type stuff. Like he actually put time into his studies, and had gone to extracurricular like programs because of his studies, not because he needed help, but because like he was pursuing that. So like there's that, but like, and that's like this, the media screwed it for him, right? They screwed it for everybody, because now scholar just is another word for thug. Like it's what they turned it into.
Well, scholar, like, basically anything that they've tried to use all these different, like, I guess, like, ways to like color that perspective. Like they've been trying to say like, hey, this is, he was, like this person, if they were, whether they're just, jogging down the street, or they're just kids, or youth or whatever. And all this kind of stuff. They're trying to use everything but just saying, like, when someone, like, when a black person makes a mistake, they can't just say like, hey, this black guy, but they'll say a white, like, oh, this white man shot up, this place or whatever. But they're really, really careful not to say like a black guy shot up a Walmart or whatever. Like they will never say that, because that just completely destroys any narrative that they're trying to paint.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think like one of the things is really kind of sad when you think about it, like what the media has done with all this stuff. Like you don't know anymore. Like you can't figure out the truth. You
Mhm.
don't know if like that kid
Exactly.
really made a legitimate accident and the guy that owned the house was an actual white supremacist and actually just had a chance to shoot a black kid and took it, or if like what it is. You don't know. And even when you like this stuff goes to court and you hear both sides and blah blah blah, like the jury's already been tainted because the second this
Mhm.
happens, it's in the news. You
So
didn't not
politicized.
hear about it. There's no way you couldn't hear about any of this stuff, like
Yeah.
and they've just screwed like everybody. Like what do we I
I had a friend, the first I heard about this was, I don't know, yesterday or something. And I had a friend who had posted on Instagram, I think, about it. And they're basically the side of this racist just shot a black kid because he didn't want him on his property and the kid made it in and this and that. And I mean, maybe that's the case. I'm not saying it is the reason. I have no idea. And like Clyde said, we can't really know. So, I mean, I don't even want to make a judgment on what happened. But anyhow, she was like, here's the phone number of the prosecutor. Call them and demand that they press charges on this guy and this and that.
Well, they're
I'm
already
like,
protesting.
Whoa, dude,
They're
like,
already
you
protesting.
can't know.
They're protesting
Yeah.
in front of his house, dude. Like they are literally protesting in front of this guy's house, and they literally, this is a literal lynch mob. Like not
Well,
like, not like
I mean,
not
that's
the-
what I said was like,
I
if
want
you think this guy is like legitimately some white supremacist that's just looking for an excuse to shoot black people, maybe don't go like form a lynch mob in front of his house and give him an excuse. I mean, you're lining
Yeah,
up
no
like
kidding, right?
targets. Because at this point,
and then he
at this
definitely has
point,
self-defense.
at this point, everything is already tainted against him. Like
Mhm.
if you are forming a
No
lynch
matter
mob
what
in
he
front of his
says.
house, he can see the writing on the wall, and he knows when this thing goes to court, he's fucked. So if that's going to be the case, and he's going down for murder, he may as well clip every single one of you bastards. Like, I mean, that would be
I think the
not
kid
saying
is-
that would
it
be
is
my
wild.
approach, but that's
I
That's
think he
definitely
was-
an
Well, yeah, I
approach.
mean, ultimately, like, I want, if he unjustifiably shot this kid, like, I want, whatever repercussions or whatever to occur. Like, I'm not taking a side on this. I have no clue. It's just crazy that people can get so embedded. And it's like, dude, like, you can't know what happened, like, it's just crazy. And it's dangerous. And, one of the biggest fears to me is somebody going to prison for something they didn't do. I mean, that's just horrifying,
well, and there's a
I don't know if they can
100% chance. There's a 100% chance that the cops were called and a police report was filed and he gave a statement. So like this should it should be on record. Like what was said about it? Like what's the actual case that's presented right now? What are the police investigating as far as this goes? Like how are they treating it? Like none of that's
They charged him with 2 felonies, I believe. I believe he got charged
Oh,
with
they
2
did charge him.
felonies.
So they're
They charged him and they released him. And you think about it, like if it's a
What were the
standard ground
felonies? I mean,
state.
it wasn't like attempted murder, was it? Or was it just like
I don't know.
reckless
I'm not
something or
sure.
other, some bullshit?
I don't know, but like it's a standard stand your ground state. So you throw that into the mix, and it's kind of like it is difficult because the homeowner is going to say the kid opened my door and came inside, and I didn't know who he was, and the kid's
Yeah.
going to say I just rang the doorbell and that never happened. And
the kid's not gonna say. Oh, I guess he lived, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's just so
he's
severely injured.
recovering. He got shot in the head and then shot
I think it like
the body or the
it,
arm or something.
it grazed one shot grazed the top of his head or something like that. It didn't actually penetrate his skull or anything. It like
Skull,
grazed
yeah.
him.
See, a
grazed
real
The,
white supremacist would have a much better shot than that. I mean, you don't shoot at somebody from 6 feet away and graze their give him some.
A real white supremacist would have given him the double. A real white supremacist would have given him the double tap.
Yeah, he wouldn't be alive. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the story was he supposedly like was at the right number but the wrong street of house, like 126 Birch instead of 126 Pine, or what have you, which is something that can happen. But yeah, be sure before you just go walking into a house. That's why I don't just walk into a house and I always knock, even if I know the people.
And that's it, right? Like if you're going
to
like, if you know somebody, you might go walking into their house. But if you know somebody, you're not going to go walking into the wrong house either. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Can't have it both ways here.
Well, it seems like from the way that they're telling the story is that he like found out he was at the wrong house, but he still like tried to go in anyway. Like I don't know if that's the
weird.
case, but
Well, maybe it should be a good rule of thumb that you just don't go walking into people's houses unannounced, like regardless. For instance, our dog is a very kind, sweet dog to all of the family, but whenever my wife's sister came over and just walked right in unannounced, he went for an artery. He bit her leg and was trying to remove her from existence. Like,
Oh, good dog.
good guard dog. Like you don't just walk in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we when we first moved down here, the people we bought our house from, like, they had some cows across the road, and they had come over to work on some fence, and they forgot a tool or something, so they came and asked if they could borrow ours. Said sure, here, it's just a pair of pliers. Like, they're using it. They know we have dogs. The kid brings it back and, like, opens up the door to come on the screen porch and just, like, walks in like it ain't no thing. My dog went berserk, like, bit his foot, like he's like kicking the dog, trying to shut the door. And I was like, man, that's, you don't walk into doors you don't know what's behind.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a screen porch and you see there's a dog behind it. Like, just don't do that. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, just always knock
Anyway.
first. Always wait on the owner to be there. Don't just go into houses. Like, I don't know why that isn't just a common thing that people like.
Well, that's, apparently, according to, Biden, people shouldn't have to have that conversation with their children about, how to behave around other people's property, and and how to behave when a cop comes around and shit like that, like maybe.
We've even reached the ages where, like, I knock before I go into kids' rooms. Like,
Oh, yeah, you don't want to see what.
some
Yeah,
things
you don't want to see what's going on in there.
Some things
man.
I just don't want to walk in on.
Yeah.
He's got his headphones in. He's not listening. What'd you say about me playing? I'm not sure.
What'd you say about me playing? What'd you say?
He said, "What'd you say about me, boy?" He thinks he's real big and tries to talk tough, but he's
That
salty
baby
butter
face.
left out on a hot day.
Tell him to come back when he can grow
Well.
a mustache. Then he can talk shit.
Dak said, "Come back when you can grow a mustache. Then you can talk shit." If he has any facial hair like me or the rest of my family, he'll be 35 before he can do that.
See, that's what I'm struggling with here. Like, I'm almost 30 and I still can't really get much.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So, speaking of your physical and mental health, I guess this is Eric Adams, New York Mayor.
35 metric tons of carbon dioxide our city emits comes from food. But all food is not created
Stop
equal.
eating, you dirty fuckers.
The vast majority of food that is contributing to our emission crises lies in meat and dairy products. We already know that a plant-powered diet is better for your physical and mental health, and I am living proof of that. But the reality
Is he retarded, or is he just like
inventory, we're
plant
finding
diet.
a
out
horrible
it is
public
better
speaker?
for
Both.
Like, how do you get elected if you talk like that?
Well,
Well,
it's look at his appearance, and it's New York City. So, I
Good
mean,
Lord.
I mean, look how he looks, and then look at it's. New
Are
York
you
City.
saying there's a connection between skin pigmentation and IQ? Pretty sure
I was gonna
Stephen Molyneux
say
got
more
in a
to-
lot of trouble for that.
I was gonna say more to voting trends, but I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was
take
going
it
with
how you want, I guess.
demographics. I was going with the demographics, or Destiny kind of thing.
So what's
Sorry,
he
I
saying,
always go down the wrong
Like,
path with these conversations.
it's all right. That's why we're a beautiful salad of people on this show. We all got to keep each other in check,
What was he actually saying? Like, what
He was
I
saying-
know the
So,
gist,
he-
but what's the point?
The
plant-
vegan
like-
diet is better for the environment.
and
Okay,
you
but what's the point?
as a person.
And you,
About,
yes.
like just because you're like, Is he proposing something for New York City, or is he just like, is he now a
Yes, he is.
See, I feel like this is.
activist? Like, what's going on?
I feel like this is pretty objectively wrong because the vegans and vegetarians, they're eating all of the greens that scrub the CO2 out of the air and everything like that. Whereas we as carnivores are eating all of the things that are creating those toxins in the air, such as cows, and
we're getting rid of the farting cows. Like,
right.
We're getting rid of
we are fighting climate change. They are destroying the environment.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm inclined to believe SDG here. He is retarded, and he's saying stuff he doesn't believe.
Yeah.
He is a vegan, so he probably does believe it. I mean, I think to go vegan, you have to be a true believer. Yeah, he is.
Maybe that's why his brain isn't working.
I got a guy at work that's a vegan, and we had some Grippo's horseradish and cheddar chips, and let me tell you, those things have got some pop to them. That when that horseradish hits you, it's like holy shit. But then it like fades into the nice cheddary flavor, and it's like, oh, that's really good. So anyway, we were passing these around at work, and everybody had to try one, and so our vegan guy, we're like, hey, come in here, like you need to try one of these. And he's like, I'm vegan. I'm like, it's a potato chip. What's that got to do with anything? You can't just use being a vegan not to not eat things that it might be spicy. I guess the cheddar could be, but it's fake cheddar. It's not like it's made from real like dairy products.
There's nothing ever closely related to cheese in there.
If you're vegan, do you not drive?
Some of them don't.
Like you gotta like kill bugs and stuff like all the time.
I heard something the other day. Some dude said that he wouldn't ride in a car because the tires have some sort of animal product in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard such a thing, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. No vegan.
I'm pretty sure you can get non-animal based tires. You can get the tires that are made just from straight oil. Yeah.
Well, whatever you buy, it's probably made in China, and what we recently had with China, there was an arrest of people who were operating an illegal Chinese police station in U.S. territories.
What?
So
Wait, what?
We are the first.
Are they like
about this
in the world to make arrests in connection with the Chinese government's overseas police stations? Now, the defendants, Liu Jianwang and Chen Jinping, were arrested earlier this morning at their homes in New York City. As alleged, the defendants worked together to establish an overseas police station in Manhattan's Chinatown on behalf of the Fuzhou branch of the Chinese government's National Police Force, the NPS.
Oh, so
these defendants did China's bidding in secret while acting under the direction and control of an NPS official in China.
I mean, if they're policing Chinatown, then whatever.
It's China people.
That's right. I mean, like as long as they're not messing with white people, then it's fine.
So I had to say, like, okay, what about like citizenship status? Do these Chinese people, if they immigrated, do they enjoy the full legal protection of the wonderful United States government, or are they just fucking with the people who are still not citizens yet?
Well, they were illegal, so I'm pretty sure. Like they were illegal and they were operating in illegal. If I'm not mistaken, unless I mean, maybe they did.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't.
We don't even have to deport them. We don't even have to deport them. The Chinese police are gonna snatch them up and deport them themselves. Like we're sending you back home.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Are they only fucking with people who are still like, technically like, by paper, Chinese, then it's like, okay, yeah, what the fuck ever. I guess I don't really care that much, but not if, not if they're good legal citizens of this here United States, and I want them protected.
I imagine
like
it's
we
like
could use some of that at
like New York City, right? Like gangs of New York type stuff. Like,
Seems like we could use some of that at the
people
embassies.
that, like protect that corner.
every country that has an embassy just send a couple of police officers over to make sure that the people at the embassy aren't like fucking around and doing dumb stuff. Because I mean, that whole diplomatic immunity stuff is some pretty serious bullshit. They can just send a couple of police officers, set up a little kiosk outside the embassy, and then if somebody does something bad, they're like, "Oh, you're getting deported. You're going back. We're gonna."
So,
no misbehaving
no
over here.
parking ticket.
So it says, as alleged, the defendants and their co-conspirators were tasked with doing the PRC's bidding, including helping locate a Chinese dissident living in the United States, and obstructed the investigation by deleting their communications. Such a police station has no place. It's let's see, there was another thing. It establishes the secret physical presence to monitor and intimidate dissidents and those critical of its government.
So was this like a actual police station that they like took like they just got involved with and started running it, like, or is this just
it's almost
they
like
had some
mafia
stuff in their yeah, so why are they calling it a police station? Because it's not really a police station.
Well, they operated it like a police station.
Yeah, okay, but that's not what it says.
I mean,
open your mind, dude.
I know, but like
Exactly
you gotta be precise with these terms, you know. Like when you're dealing with things like this, you gotta.
Look, China is the big bad guy right now, so it's got to be like everything is evil about China, and
Dude, we're really cruising for
trust.
World War III.
Just trust the media that this is a terrible thing, even though it does sound like they were just over here like looking for dissidents and like dealing with
nothing the
Chinese
US
people.
do.
Not
yeah.
right.
It's still probably
It's not like
evil.
we
I just
don't
don't have to
actually
care. Yeah.
It's not.
It's a
it's not like
polarized
I only have so much
Chinese
care
people.
I can give. I got to go to work, guys. Have a good day.
Later, Dag.
Have a good one.
First.
They wore cowboy hats and stars. It was a Paris station.
Paris.
Did you guys see that joke that I posted in the group chat the other day?
What was it? Tell us.
Which one?
Share it with our audience.
It was so I was at school. There was a fourth grader telling jokes. It goes with the Chinese thing. He said, "Why can't two Chinese people have a white?"
Oh
baby?"
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. As long as you guys saw it, we'll leave it at that.
No. You gotta finish.
Leave
Two
it- leave it-
wolves
all right,
don't
listen.
make a white.
Dude, it's the hardest thing because like you know it's like this little like fourth grader. You're like, oh my god, like I can't laugh at that. Like it doesn't matter. Like that's
Because
funny.
if you laugh,
Like,
you
that's funny.
reinforce. You're gonna
Yeah.
get them like to be like, oh, now this is.
But it's just like, man, and you know.
Well,
Oh well.
I'd be like, oh my god, that was great. Go tell Miss Ling Chung. She'll think it's hilarious too.
all of a sudden they get completely booted out of school because like they offended Sum Ting Wong.
Just don't tell her I told you to tell her the joke. Yes, you keep that to yourself.
Well, my favorite thing is the have you seen like I assume they're all fake, but the like when people make me, I'm assuming they're doing it as a joke but there's like the Chinese sounding names like Sum Ting Wong or like a.
We did the airplane. There was an airplane that went down. It was like the pilot and like all the crew and stuff, and they were all names like that. Like I can't remember them. But,
That's hilarious.
yeah,
I'm almost positive we played the clip of that. Like they actually read that
I
on.
think we did.
On the air.
Yep.
And it didn't dawn on the anchors that the names were clearly a joke.
Well, you know what else is a
Ron
joke?
Burgundy level stuff there.
Our favorite senator is made his return. Look, he's made a triumphant return. Look at this.
This dude doesn't
Turn
even
on
know where he
James
is. Yes.
I love how he's back in the hoodie. Like he finally got to the suit. He was finally wearing the suit, and now he's back to the hoodie.
It was probably the suit that caused him all that depression.
Like, oh, I have to wear a suit. Dude, his wife is a piece of work.
Is she back in the States, or is she like still absconded to Canada? And why did she take off? Did she like poison him or something? She like tried to give him some arsenic.
Nobody ever asked that question. She never gave an explanation for why it was she fled the country whenever he went in. Nobody cares. And he's back. I mean, what's he gonna do? Like,
whatever.
What was he ever gonna do? Yeah, I mean, what was he ever gonna do anyway? Like, they're not gonna let that guy.
They put him on committees.
They who?
The Democrats. Like, the Democrats put him on committees. Like
that just shows how brain dead those motherfuckers are.
Well, it's a guaranteed vote. It's a guaranteed yes. It's a guaranteed like go along with the establishment. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's all that is. It's
That's hilarious. Oh yes, Sung Ting Wong. That's gotta be my favorite one. Like Sung Ting Wong. But yeah, I don't see any reason. Like, they should have already replaced Fetterman. But I mean, what does it matter anyway? So, like, somebody's going to be a Democrat's going to be in that seat, and they're going to be voting the same way that Fetterman is voting. I don't really think he's even voting. He's just they're telling him, hey, you will vote yes, and he's just like, okay, I'll vote yes.
If you drool on the left, it's a yay. If you drool on the right, it's a nay.
Why did he make like an appearance a couple or 2 or 3 weeks ago that there were people who were explaining how, you know, the difference between phone cameras and professional photos look and stuff, and that's why his head and chin and everything looked like they were shaped completely different. Yeah, but like, so why did he show up a few weeks ago and then went back in a hole and just now comes back out? It feels kind of like, see, I still don't trust the Damar Hamlin thing, because they had him at the ball game and he's completely covered, wearing like a mask and sunglasses and a hat, full jacket and everything, while he's in a booth with nobody else in there. And then after that game, he just disappears for a while, and you don't see him or hear anything from him again for several weeks. And then he magically reemerges, and he looks right. He looks the way he's supposed to look. It's like we ran out the rough draft, and everybody
do the makeup artist. Like, they realized
we ran out the rough draft, and everybody called us on it, so we had to go back and we had to smooth out all. And this was this is take two.
It takes. I imagine it probably would. It'd take time to build like a good body double.
I mean, that's why they're running
surgeries and take care of stuff. And so, like, you throw out these guys in between, and you buy yourself another month, 2 months, and you have more time to fix up the replacement, make it look right.
I mean, that's why they're running 4 Bidens. That way, nobody knows which one is the real one. So you just assume that they're all fake, or that they're all real, or that there is no Biden. Yeah, you just stop caring. Like, right? Say whatever, everything's fake. Fuck it.
That's
Katie has. So speaking of fake Bidens, Katie has her iLearn this week. So it's the like Indiana standardized testing bullshit. And today they have like open response, like written essay style questions. And I was like, so what are you gonna be doing? What would you be writing about? And she said, I don't know. It just depends on what the article is that we read for this thing. She said the ones we've had earlier in the week were on space and different stuff. I said, well, that's it right there. Whatever it says, just write, okay, that article was really cool, but space is fake. Space is not real. In order for the shuttle to reach exit velocity to get out of orbit, it would have to break enough G's that would literally shatter the human body. So we've never gone to outer space. Space is not real. It doesn't exist. The Earth is not flat, but it is pear-shaped, and it's not actually. It's actually hollow, and that's why they don't want us to have access to Antarctica, because Antarctica is actually the butthole of the Earth. That's where you go to get into the hollow Earth, and then talk about like the 4 Bidens and how Biden's not real, and like I said, you got to go into all of it. Just just write like 1,000 words on every crazy conspiracy theory you've ever heard me talk about. So she's like sitting there trying to put it together. She goes, "No, I can't do that. I actually want to pass." I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Passing's overrated. You can have everybody in the state of Indiana be really concerned about you, or you can pass. Like,
which is more fun.
I remember that. Like as a kid, we were on like the front end of some of the standardized testing that they started, and like I remember the teacher telling us like, don't worry about it. The grade doesn't matter. They're just like, they just want to see like, you know, how this thing goes. And I remember I had a blast with that test. I just like, cause I knew like, it didn't matter. There was no grade attached to it. It was just like, let's see what happens. And I was like, okay, good.
Yeah, at that time, nobody was taking it seriously. The teachers weren't taking it seriously. None of the students, we didn't take it seriously. So like for the multiple choice portion of the test, some of us would just take C on everything, or like do zigzag patterns on the Scantron sheet. And then the open response part, my answer for every open response question on the test was, I don't feel I've been given enough information to give an educated answer to this question. And that was my response on every open response question on our state testing. And then what's really funny about it is apparently while we weren't taking it seriously, the state was taking it seriously. And the year after I graduated, our school got put on a 2-year academic probation. Like they had somebody like got sent from the state to stay at the school all the time to monitor and make sure that the school was actually teaching people like what they were supposed to be teaching them, because we all did so terrible.
That's how you know you trolled them. Like you're good.
We won. My brother was so pissed off because he's 2 years younger than me, so he had to spend 2 years with these fucking state monitors and like all of this like extremely strict like restrictions on what they could do and how much like free time they had, and, like how the curriculums were being done. Like they put the school on fucking lockdown, and it was entirely our fault.
You're like, there you go, bro. Like this is my gift to you, bro.
How are we supposed to know that the state actually cared about that shit?
I mean, it's just a test, man. Doesn't mean nothing. Doesn't mean nothing anyway.
I thought everybody knew it was a joke. Standardized testing is racist anyway. Like,
yeah, sure is.
You know what else is racist? Probably
macaroni and cheese.
Definitely.
Who's that?
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming this afternoon to the Camden County Courthouse for this press conference. I have with me First District Commissioner James Gohagan, Second District Commissioner Don Williams, and Sheriff of Camden County Tony Helms. On Tuesday, April 4th, I was made aware of emails sent by the ATF to our Planning and Zoning Department. The emails requested information about current FFL holders pertaining to their zoning and business licensing. Camden County was the first county in the state, and possibly the first county in the country, that passed the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Passed ordinance stating they do not recognize the unconstitutional bureau known as the ATF.
What do you think about that? They do not recognize the ATF.
Where was that?
I know
Camden's New Jersey, but I know that's not New Jersey.
Let's see. Let me look it up real quick.
Well, I know Missouri has.
Missouri?
I'm pretty sure Missouri has a bill. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Missouri has a bill
Missouri Let's see. Camden County, Missouri.
I think Missouri has a bill, like a statewide bill, that they're trying to get passed that would effectively do the same thing on the state level.
Oh yeah, because I remember they were saying they're like all the leftists were mad. They were like, "Oh, this is gonna be this is gonna cause more mass shootings and all this kind of stuff." Like,
as if St. Louis doesn't have enough of those with everything in place. calm
mean,
down.
is it St. Louis,
All of the
like,
violence in Missouri, is pretty well centralized in St. Louis. Like as long as
I
you
think
aren't
I looked at something
there,
one time.
you're
Where
safe.
there's another city in Missouri that like is
Kansas
pretty,
City.
Maybe that's what it was. It was Kansas City. Yeah, I don't know, man. What like I've been seeing a lot of videos of like the kids like just looting and rioting and like mob nonsense. Is this like a new phenomenon, or is this just like the media's picking up on it now?
No, it's,
I don't
think
ever remember that as a kid.
Well, I think it's a TikTok thing. Like they're saying like, hey, like if you get a bunch of people together and you rush a store and you steal a bunch of stuff, they can't stop you. It's almost like the Area 51 thing, but it's it's they're actually stealing stuff. Like I don't know, like it's not like a joke. We talked about this.
We had chores. We didn't have time. We didn't have time to be looting. We had chores. If we didn't do our chores, we were getting our ass beat. If you know that you have to do, if you know that you have to be home at a certain time and you have to be doing certain things and you have to maintain certain grades and you have, and if you don't do these things, you are going to get your ass beat. Then it kind of dissuades you from, running around doing dumb shit like rioting and looting and shit like that.
But when you have this peaceful parenting that, like where like, let free range parenting, like let them.
Peaceful parenting is overrated. I appreciate the people who really believe in it and think that it's a good thing to not hit your kids. Fuck that! Hit your kids regularly. They deserve it.
I think there's a place for all.
The people who say violence isn't the answer aren't trying to answer the right questions.
Yeah. That's true. You think about that, the peaceful parenting thing. You could almost like extrapolate that to the government and where these like a lot of the cities are and their stance on crime and violence, right? Letting it's okay if you steal this much, just you steal more than like yeah, you steal over $1,000, then we have to, but you can steal $900 and that's okay, like.
Well, it's like, what was it? There was a big thing that kind of was going around about Singapore. I think it was Singapore not long ago, and how like they have virtually no crime and all of this stuff. Yeah. But they also have extremely harsh penalties. Like if you do some sort of crime, you're probably going to get dragged out of the street and caned within an inch of your life. So then the argument was like, do you want people to be beat half to death for stealing a stick of bubble gum? It's like, if it prevents every other crime, then yeah, absolutely, fuck that.
Yeah. If preventing that crime also like adds to like the declining in the murder rate, then maybe I'm just saying like.
Can't everybody fuck that?
There's 2 kids that got like, or maybe it was 1 kid. I don't know. He got like publicly caned for like spitting on a sidewalk in Singapore. You remember that?
Yeah.
I think that was like back in like high school. Maybe we were in high school or something. But
he was some white trash delinquent. Yeah. They should have stoned him after they got done caning him. They didn't take it far enough. He's probably a delinquent still.
He went to North Korea and stole some signs afterwards.
Yeah, but like SCG says, yeah, there's a lot of them in those settings. They just have no parents there. Yeah, broken window policy. Like it's that kind of thing of essentially the broken window theory is like a huge indicator for how that city and that society treats it's all of its property and everything. Like if the window gets repaired and they and then there's incentive to punish the criminal. Then
it's definitely not an issue of peaceful parenting in urban centers. It's for sure more of no parenting at all. Because if you've ever been around black parents, they are quick to beat their kids. Like just beat the hell out of them. Doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the mall, Walmart, school parking lot. They gonna whip off a belt and just whoop the shit out of their kids.
Or the slipper comes off like
the slipper. Yeah. Did you see the video of the alligator like comes up out of the water and the woman like takes her slipper off and the gator backs off? He's like, "Fuck that! I ain't getting that slipper." You didn't see that?
I did not see this. No.
It's like a woman. It's like this woman walking this little ass dog next to a big pond or something, and this big gator comes up out of the water, and she pulls her slipper off and like waves the slipper at the gator, and the gator retreats back into the water. He's like, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it's like this here. Let me see. There's the.
I like
if
that
Black
idea,
Moms
SDG.
were in a video game. The whole chair. The stool there. Suitcase. Oh no, that's like a. That's like a something else. I don't know. Hair dryer.
What is that?
Gun.
A gun. Okay.
The whole vacuum.
I need to get a fly swatter or two for the car. I think that's a good idea. Can't ever reach, and then when I can reach, it's
I got
like
these like ridiculously. I got these ridiculously long arms, so you were never out of reach. Now I'm gonna pop you wherever you are in the car. You can't hide from me.
Reach back and smack.
Oh man.
He's just music. I did that, and he just had a Vietnam flashback. He was like, "Oh God," he remembers.
Did Matt Walsh get his account back?
Yeah, he finally he deleted all those tweets. Do you want to see? Do you want to go through the tweets, sir?
He should have left them
He
up.
should
Man.
have
That would've been like-
He should have doubled down. He should have doubled down on it. Been like, "Yeah, I said it wasn't to you."
I don't know. I never really figured out who he was. I just remember like I know Joe Walsh from like the Eagles, and there was another Walsh guy that did like
Matt Walsh is the guy that
America's
did the What
Most
Is a
Wanted.
Woman. Matt Walsh
I
did
just
the
remember
What Is a
like
Woman.
America's Most Wanted. Who was America's Most Wanted? That was a Walsh.
Oh no, I'm.
But like and then so I don't know. He just has. I know he has like mediocre
Oh,
takes,
now I
but then he
need
had
to-
these takes, and it was just like amazing.
John Walsh. John
John
was
Walsh. Yeah, it's
that
close
was.
enough.
Yeah.
Is Matt Walsh related to any of these people?
I don't think so, but you never know. Bitch, Samira, you know what you did. Joe Rogan is a pedo. I ain't a gangsta, I'm a sassy shooter. That one was this one was like these were kind of funny, but then I was like, oh man, it's
Well, remember when New York Post got hacked and had all those like crazy articles and stuff that were getting posted?
Yeah, I remember that was great. I love that. Like, how do you? I guess it was just somebody else's phone.
Somebody put some effort. Like that had to have been a team doing that because
that was
those
like
were
planned out.
Yeah.
They
I
had
wonder if
those
it's
tweets
like the
ready to go.
Lizard Squad or whatever. Like they'll always claim it though. Like those like quote unquote hacker groups, they'll always claim like every hack. It's
like
stupid.
Osama.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, those
that's
tweets
the
are
best
hilarious.
one. Like my
I like the
what do you say?
profile.
My
like, cover
pronouns.
photo.
What was the one that he had pinned? It was like my pronouns are like that nigga. Or something
That.
like that. Yeah, it was just like, good lord, dude, this is like insane. Oh, love it.
Perfect. I think I might change that to my put that in my bio on Twitter.
I mean, oh god, what do you? I would love to have seen his reaction like in real time as he like
That's what he
realizes
should
can't
do.
Get into
He
Twitter
should-
and then like sees
He
it.
should put that as his pronouns on his Twitter bio. Just put that nigga. See how much reaction that gets. Like, that's what you got to do is lean into the joke, like because if people think that you're actually outraged by somebody doing something like that, then like
They'll
that
do it
makes you an
again.
easy target. Yeah, they'll try to find a way to do it again. Whereas if you lean into it and you laugh about it, and make it into. And I think he did kind of have a good laugh at it, but
Did he?
deleting it all. And
I thought he would have been mad. Like,
Oh, I'm sure he would have been. He's
Yeah.
like, you know.
Ben Shapiro was probably mad when he first saw that one tweet.
Oh, he hasn't posted. I don't think he's posted since it still has the banner. It's still, his location is Sassy Shooters XCD. I don't know what that means. But
Can you? How much trouble can you get in
Shapiro
for,
was
like,
probably
doing that?
for hacking somebody's account and just posting a bunch of dumb shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would.
Was that like
think
false
not
impersonation? If you have like a big verified account, you know what I mean? Like if it was somebody like you or me, nobody cares. But if it's like, you know, Joe Biden or, you know,
I mean,
one of these
if
big
they
names.
could find who it was, then you could like almost sue for defamation. I would think because or
Yeah,
like
something.
or like libel, like because
Yeah.
in print, you know, like printing lies about someone is libel. So I guess you could do that. I don't know the legal precedent. I don't think there is really one of because they a lot of times they can't find these people. Like they can find, like, it depends on what they're doing, what the kind of hack is. Like the hacks into the accounts is kind of harder to find them than
They just got to get New York Times and Eric Toller on it. They'll figure out who it was in a heartbeat.
But what are you going to sue for? Like, are you going to sue for like damages or something? Because everybody picked up on that it was a hack and that it was it was all a joke. Like immediately. Like I don't think anybody took any of that seriously at any point. So like
I wouldn't think they would, but at the same time, I think, you know, some of those people would get their panties wadded up quite quick, and, you know, I feel like they would pursue something like that, you know.
Yeah.
If you did it to a leftist, yeah, absolutely. But
to who?
I don't know that Matt Walsh is necessarily the guy that would like get his panties all in a bunch about that, especially considering what was being posted.
Now, Ben
Like,
Shapiro
it
probably.
was,
Ben Shapiro, he probably would. He'd be like, I'm getting my lawyers on this.
oh yes, I'm sure as soon as Shapiro saw that tweet that he was tagged in, he was ready to give him the Crowder treatment. He was like, all right, we're gonna run you out on a rip.
He saw that and he was like, wait a second, why is Matt Walsh saying them?
Why are you telling these people? That was supposed to be our secret.
I told you in private.
Look,
folks, the facts of the matter.
Do you have anything else on the whole Bellingcat thing? Who is Bellingcat?
Bellingcat. Wait, what?
They're
What do you mean?
the ones that help figure out the leaker there, the kid that leaked the Ukraine National Guard stuff.
Let's see. I didn't see.
They're like the organization that like was there. I don't know, but I didn't know who they were, and all of a sudden they're showing up. They seemed like, I don't know.
Well, they're based out of the Netherlands, so I don't know that may be a little bit of a.
I figured Justin would know who they were, maybe, but oh well.
They've got a whole article on it talking about it here. I think I'm in 4chan. Yeah, I don't really know.
Because I never heard about them, but I know they're OSINT people. Huh. What did he say? Justin went through the bottoms. He's gone, huh?
Yeah, he bottomed out. But yeah, I couldn't find anything else. I mean, pretty much all we know is that he was giving away these documents on, some of his Discord, and then I don't know what. They're going to pursue him to the fullest extent that they can.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna get basically hung, if not literally, at least in the legal sense.
He'll get black box, and then they'll probably reinstate him later under a different name. He'll change his gender.
They'll
change
they'll
his
probably
name,
do
and they'll put him
MK
back in.
MK Ultra him, and then all of a sudden he's like a compliant individual, and then they
If he
like,
hasn't been already. I do think there's some level of oppiness to this. I don't think he did this like on his own. I don't.
yeah.
Like I think if you look at some of those documents, who was it?
Like how
Napoleon?
would he get access? Yeah, like how would he get access, and how would he bring
that's
it
it.
home, and then how would he then upload it to a social media site?
And some of the stuff like the National Guard doesn't have access to. Like they're like, if you look at some of the documents, they're not documents that he would have had access to.
It's DoD. Like he had like broader DoD documents, not necessarily just National Guard or whatever. Wasn't he National Guard? I think it was.
Yeah, he was National Guard, but
Yeah.
like some of the documents he had, like he should not have had access to them, even with, the classified security clearance that he would have had at the National Guard, or that the National Guard can have.
Well, so what happens? So, just sort of, I guess, inside baseball is that sometimes you will see, like they even tell you sometimes you will see documents that are higher clearance than what you have. And you're supposed to report it, but like you're supposed to say like, hey, I saw this, like top secret clearance document. You just laying over here, and it was just laying in a manila folder, open. So we need to secure that document, basically. Like you're supposed to go report it to your superiors. But if he just snatches it and says like, okay, well, I'm going to take it home and upload and scan it, then I mean, it's not like that there's always like these top secret documents. Like people think that it's more organized and that it's more
I'm sure
coordinated.
It's government work.
Yeah,
but I think like, oh God, there's a clip, and I think it was Napoleano, and there's somebody on there with him talking about like, and maybe that's the case, but it was basically like those documents, some of the stamps on the documents, like came from, CIA stuff, like places that these documents don't leave this building or housed in this area, and there's no way that he would have, unless there was a major faux pas like you're talking about, like but I don't know, man. I just don't buy it all.
I think that there could be a little bit of like malice, and there could be a little bit of like incompetence. I think there's both in this case. Like they misplaced some documents, and then they probably knew like, okay, well, we don't have those documents, so somebody's got them, and we're just going to wait for them to leak them, and we're going to catch them, and then we're going to make a big deal about it, and then we have like a good op to kind of like get people, hey.
What's really interesting though, you look at those documents, and like everybody's all the talking heads are treason, like,
yeah,
none of those were secrets that hurt. I mean, like, it's not
hurting the U.S. It's hurting the cause of Ukraine, I guess, because it's like, oh well, they're just getting getting decimated. Unlike what we're being told in the media, which is saying like, hey, they're crushing it and they're winning big,
And that's the only thing it did hurt in U.S. standards, I guess, would be like it hurts the government's reputation, the government's trustworthiness, right? That's the only thing it hurts. It didn't hurt. It didn't give away secret locations of army bases, or what I mean. It didn't give us like anything like that. It was just, hey, your government's lying to you, and it blows my mind that even some of these higher level talking heads, I understand they're completely bought and paid for, but they would even parrot that as treason. Like, treason has to hurt somebody, hurt your government, and it doesn't. It's insane.
Well, I think they're doing it by like they're trying to say it's treason, like kind of by proxy of like, well, because we're helping Ukraine and because all that stuff is like, because if that stuff hurts the cause of Ukraine, then therefore like you're working.
Did it even really hurt Ukraine that much? All it did was like,
it just hurt the narrative. Like that's all it does.
Right.
It hurts the narrative of like we're lying to you and we're saying like, hey, everything is like, fine, and they're winning, like they're winning big. They're gonna beat back Russia at any moment. When in reality, what it is like they're completely they're getting pushed back really hard, and then we don't know what's going to happen.
It is like it only damaged like perspective. That's the only thing it damaged. It's interesting that they would call that treason. That they would push that as something that's treasonous. You know what I mean? Like that almost goes into this whole idea of like not hate speech, but dissidence.
Yeah, well, it's they think that anyone who goes against the narrative. I mean, we've seen that with the Biden administration and all this kind of stuff. Like basically anyone who's going against anything that Biden or the State Department or anything that's any ops that are being done. Like if you're going against anything, then they label you as a dissident, and they want you to be completely considered a treasoner. I mean, it's literally like what we. It's almost like quartered troops in a way, like kind of like whenever we initially, fought for our independence as a country. Like it's basically quartered troops telling you, like, hey, you can't say this and you can't do this, because if you do, then we will have to basically excommunicate you or put you away or off you something. Like we've got to deal with you in some way.
Oh well. Oh, just don't be retarded and share documents.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.